Easy guys. Right, I hope everyone's good. Welcome to the live stream. It's really good to finally be involved in one of these. I've been speaking to the Deep, Dark and Dangerous team about getting involved in this year. It's a bit difficult to get on a DJ stream for myself with all the lockdown rules and whatnot. But we've been talking about this and we've decided to do a production live stream. Obviously, it's all going to be themed around the Deep, Dark and Dangerous latest release from Truth. That's Deep, Dark and Dangerous number 72, the Neptune EP. I hope you guys have been supporting it. Absolutely sick. And I absolutely love the vibe of space, sci-fi. Quite the cold, eerie sort of sound. So, yeah, Tristan was talking to me basically about doing a live stream where I explore those sort of sounds. So we've got this idea that I don't know who remembers or who did support. I put a release out on Deep, Dark and Dangerous this year called Exosphere. It was on a compilation. So it's like a sci-fi themed track. And I said, let's flip it and do a VIP live and explore a bit more of a sort of cold and eeriness to the track, because the original is very sort of gritty, if you know it. I'll play it through now. I've got the project open here in Logic. But yeah, apologies, this isn't live. This is pre-recorded because of the time zone difference and whatnot. And yeah, the kids are in bed right now. So if I was started doing this live, I'd be in big trouble with my wife. So out to everyone who is going to be interacting while this is playing. And yeah, much love for locking in. So this is the original of Exosphere.
Say again, please. Say again, please. Say again.
Houston, we have a problem.
Right, so out to everyone who knows about this one already. So let's get into it. We're gonna flip this, and we're gonna throw it out into space, because the vibe I'm looking for is a lot airier, colder, a bit darker. This one's a bit like being on the spaceship when Alien comes out, and you with Sigourney Weaver, and you basically get eaten and then demolished by the alien. Whereas the one I'm looking for, I want to throw this track out into the middle of space on its own. And yeah, all those vibes with it, hopefully. So I'm going to start off by taking out, I think what I'll do, just for the purpose of this, I'm going to mute all of the bass, which I already had. Because the bass in this original mix, if I just let you guys hear it. Let me turn it up. It's straight, just horrible. So the vibe I'm going for, that's going to be a bit too much, I think. So I'm just going to mute that. The 808's underneath. Most of the bottom end in this track is kind of 808 sounds, and a few really like low end sort of like Reese basses, but not much hum in them, just the bottom end covered. So, and the percussion as well. Yeah, the percussion will keep the sounds, I think, because it sounds tight. but I'm just going to simplify it a bit and give it some space. And some of the sound effects as well I'm going to take out for this mix. This one. No, you're staying. Yeah, that sample, I'm just going to straight delete it. Because it's a little bit... It's the wrong vibe with this version now. Yeah, these can stay. I'm going to keep them. All the vocal samples were sneaky recordings from like documentaries on YouTube with a few sort of like sound effects in the background. The classic Houston, we've got a problem.
Houston, we have a problem.
We have a problem, sorry. That's like a radio signal I found. So we're going to keep those. Probably use them in different ways, maybe. We'll see. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a little loop at the top here with a kick. Right. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some of the top end off these snares. Love that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put like a delay in Logic. This one's called Echo, but I love using this because you can very quickly achieve what you want. It's a very simple plugin. I use a hell of a lot of Logic's plugins as standard. Yeah, that sounds nice. There's some really cool, I think it's this one. That's like a Foley sort of sound. Right, that snare's wicked. So what I'm going to do, that snare, I'm using it on alternate bars at the moment, but I'm going to use that as a constant. I think it's got a little bit more of a sort of like raw sound to it. I'll be able to treat that easier as well. Right, wicked. I'm going to mute that sound effect. We'll come back to that. Wicked. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the flow of the kick slightly different. Yeah, I've just delayed that second kick there, so rather than being on the second bar, it comes in on the second beat of the second bar rather than at the start. I think it'll just give it a little more emptiness. We'll see. Right, what I'm going to do, this is a really good plugin by, I think it's Reveal Sound. Let me just double check. Yeah, Reveal Sound. It's called Spire. Such a cool plugin. There's a Reese in here, which I'm just going to use for now, because I know it's there. Ooh! You know that's nice as well. Sounds sick. So the first thing I'm going to do real quick, I'm just going to compress it. Just to tighten it, get the most out of it very quickly. We can tweak that afterwards. And then I'm going to sidechain it with the kick. Now let me see. I'll call it kick main. And then I find it in the list. Here we go. Change the settings so it's actually... Yeah. That sounds really nice. Let's be honest, when does a respace not sound nice? I think it's just like, it's always going to sound good. And then what I tend to do is I add like an EQ at the bottom of my channel strip so I can see how the sound's behaving. I'm just going to give that a little bit more of a push. So I've just cut there between 100 and 200 a bit. If I boost that, you probably hear it. I mean, there's a lot of presence there and it sounds nice. But this area always adds a bit of muddiness to respaces. So I'm just going to cut that down a bit. And then the hum here, you get that really nice sort of like resonance. So I'm going to boost that a bit. Right, I'm just going to record a simple E flat. That's what key I'm in, E flat. So I'm just going to record a solid note running over 2 bars. Over 4 bars, sorry. So, yep. This will just give me some sort of something to base the rest of the ideas off, because it's just holding an atmosphere really. I think with this VIP, it's just all about the atmosphere rather than being about sort of gnarly sounds, if you know what I mean. So the respace is just going to hold the bottom end and it's going to give it a hum. And then there's a lot of space on top of the res to add synths and other textures and things like that. I'm just going to cut it so it stops on the snare in the 4th bar, and then give the release, open the release a bit so it just tails off there. Sick. So if I just listen to the track just before.
Houston, we have a problem.
Oh, I love the vibe of that. And what I'm going to do...
Houston, we have a problem.
Where he says have a problem, I'm going to drop that into a duplicate channel. I'll move the automation purely because I don't know what it is and I'm scared to say no. Right.
Houston, we have a problem. 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 Houston, we have a problem. Have a problem. Have a problem. Have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. Have a problem. Have a problem. Have a problem. Have a problem.
I've just had an idea there. So when the Reese comes back in there, rather than starting it straight away on the beat, I'm going to give it a little gap and then pitch bend from lower down back up to that root note of E flat. So Inspire, the plugin that is, I'm just going to change the parameters which allow me to pitch bend. And then Logic users, will know this, but you can just draw it in. I'm sure it's the same in other doors as well. So I'm just going to go from down there and have it so it kind of opens up there. Right up to 0. Right, I'm going to just leave the Reese now as it is, because it's going to do the job. We can tweak it more. I want to get moving with the rest of it. Now, one thing to remember, schoolboy error. It's because I've added the automation to that bar there. It sometimes affects the previous block as well in Logic. So I'm just going to make sure that's on 0 because I don't want the note to change. And then there was an effect here which I'd muted. I'm going to put that back in. But I'm going to really wet it up now with reverb. So it's really distant. So it's literally right out there in space.
Have a problem. 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 Have a problem.
I love that. It gives it a lot of space in the track. Because with a lot of music like this, especially on the sound system, less is more. Do you know what I mean? If you give things space to breathe, when you get behind a system and listen to it, it's mad. Right, so over the top, I'm going to come up with some sort of like synthesizer. I mean, pads are always really good with sci-fi stuff. This is one I'd opened earlier. What's really cool to do is to create dissonance. So dissonance being like notes which don't really work together, they clash. And you can do that by just a contrasting semitone. So holding a note and then going up just a semitone and holding them together. So I've got E. See, hear that? Just added E flat and E together. And it'll give it this sort of like, if I play this now over the top of the Reese, you'll get it straight away.
Houston, we have a problem. Have a problem. Have a problem. Have a problem. Have a problem.
Yeah, we'll get that sitting really nice. So what I'll do as well is I'm just going to copy and paste the side chain that I put on the bass onto the pad. Also the compression, because it will just give it a boost. And then what I want to do, I don't want these frequencies here. Don't want those there, because they're going to really clash with the Reese bass.
Houston, we have a problem. Have a problem. Have a problem. Have a problem. Have a problem.
I'm just going to record that.
Houston, we have a problem. Have a problem. Have a problem. Have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. Have a problem. Have a problem.
Right. I do like that. But I definitely think as the track progresses, it's going to need something else there. Like a lead synth. Pretty sick. I like that. What might be quite cool is to sort of like take the top end off it. I might bring it up the octave. that is. Quite eerie. Gives it a darkness as well.
Houston, we have a problem. Have a problem. Have a problem. Have a problem.
So I think that'll be enough. I can use it sort of sparingly as a bit of like a motif that comes through the track. Let me just pull that. I've got my latency in Logic right down so my CPU doesn't misbehave while we're live streaming. And then the only other thing with this is it needs more atmosphere, so reverb. That sounds sick. Really like it. I'm going to find another synth as well to sort of play off that one. Also nice as well. That is cool. Right, I'm just going to record that pattern in.
Houston, we have a problem. Have a problem. Have a problem. Have a problem.
I'm not sure which flow I like more of those. Let me just tighten them up. Right, first one I think. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to space that out a bit more. Those all sound really cool. They work well together. I think the initial synth I'd put in there, that sort of dissonant pad, will work pretty well on the intro as well. So what I can do is these sounds in the original mix, I'm just going to mute these for now because they're a bit more aggressive. They're not quite sort of spaced out and eerie. Yeah, that's wicked. That works really nice.
This is Houston. Say again, please. Say again, please. Say again, please. Say again.
Houston, we have a problem. Have a problem. Have a problem.
I tend to work like this quite a lot, sort of on the fly, so almost performing it while I'm creating it and then coming back and adding the bits which I thought worked. This is just the snare which I've got running on every beat. Now the only thing I need to do is layer the snare now with these snares which I've got muted. Right, wicked. I like that. There's definitely some of the basses from the original mix. This one. Right. That one's not the one. I could turn that into a more atmospheric synth as well. It's alright. It's not really the vibe. There is a sound in here somewhere. Here it is. That sound will work really well. It's almost subby, but it's purely because I've cut all the sort of top end off it. If I turn this EQ off, that's the initial sound. It's I did a track called Slaughterhouse several years ago and I never released it, and that's one of the sounds. And that's it with all the top end and the mid range cut off it. I think the cool thing with this track will be to add to the percussion. I'm thinking like a shaker at that point, just to give it a little bit of a sort of an energy lift there. Nothing too much, just subtle in the background, but shakers are nice because they have that texture to them as well. I can't rave enough about the Vengeance sample packs. I know quite a lot of them are really old, but they're just stacked full of really good quality samples. And believe it or not, most of the sample packs that are named a certain genre, you can just use them in any genre. This is the Vengeance Deep House, but you can use it in any genre you want. It doesn't have to be Deep House. I'll try not to take too long here. Right, that's wicked. I like that one. Something that's not too short. It's got a bit of a release to it. So I'm going to throw that in. So after the first 16, if it drops and it's quite sort of spaced out, not as much going on. And then we'll bring this shaker in. And then I'll use delay and echo to give it some character. The echo just fills the gaps. And then I'll turn it on now. I'm also going to add reverb but I'm going to take a lot of the dry signal off and keep a lot of the wet in there. So it's just sat a little bit back in the mix. Also, what'll be pretty cool is I'm going to sidechain it to the kick as well. So it's kind of working in a similar flow to the bass and everything else, and the synths as well. So the whole track's got this certain movement to it. Kick main. You hear it dipping. That's just dipping with the kick. And what I'm going to do is just something I've just heard in my head, is I'm just going to turn the echo off on that one there and replicate it. I like that. I think it'll just give it. One thing I'm going to do is take down a bit of the reverb, so it's not quite as sort of like the decay of the reverb's a bit tighter.
Houston, we have a problem.
Right, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete this. When it first drops, I'm going to get rid of the snares altogether to start with. And then bring them in after 8 bars. Those shakers really give it a little bit of a lift there, but without being too prominent in the mix. I love shakers. I started getting into dubstep in like 2006, 2007, and some of the early tunes which really grabbed me were the old Koki tunes, and I absolutely loved the shakers he used in his tunes because they're really organic. I mean, all of his percussion in his old school tunes were really organic, and I still crave that now, even though I like clean productions as well. Something about an edge of rawness and organic sound in dubstep. I absolutely love it. Yeah, wicked. So this is coming together. I'm just, some of the effects which I had in the original mix, I'm just spacing them out a little bit more in terms of time in Logic. So they're not coming in so often, a little less busy. I need to throw that kick off as well. So the things in these really stripped back tracks that make a difference are very subtle background noises which are going on. So when it drops that vocal,
Houston,
we have a problem. I want that to really echo off for a long time.
Houston, we have a problem. 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 Have a problem.
I like how I cut that off as well then. So at that point there, take it out. And what would be really cool is bring it back in, but down an octave, the vocal itself. You can just transpose it in Logic, pretty quick up there. So I'm dropping it down an octave. And then when it comes back in, yeah, this sounds wicked. And when you drop the vocal down the octave, it doesn't even sound like a vocal anymore. It's got just a mad sort of sound to it. Do you know what I mean? If you hear that in a track and it's not your own, you'd be constantly thinking, what is that? And it's just the vocal down an octave.
Houston, we have a problem. 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 Have a problem.
This is Houston.
I'm just dropping this last run of those pads that are dissonant down the octave as well there.
This is Houston. Say again, please. Say again, please. Say again, please. Say again.
Houston, we have a problem. 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 Have a problem.
Say again.
This has got a really cool vibe.
Say again.
This sound effect which I had muted, I'm going to keep it in there, but I'm just going to cut it out a bit more on the bottom end so it's quite thin and wet it up a bit more. So it just sits in the mix.
Say again. Say again.
Yeah, that sounds nice there. I always just try and listen out for space in the track, like in that position there where I've just moved that effect. The bass down here stops, so it's quite empty. It's just got that snare behind it. Yeah, I love it. And then have a problem. I'm going to have that coming back in there, but I'm going to have it creeping back in. So it's just very subtle.
Say again. Say again. This is Houston. Say again, please. Say again, please. Say again, please.
Houston, we have a problem.
Wicked. Right, we're getting to the point where it needs switching.
This is Houston. Say again, please. Say again, please. Say again, please.
Houston, we have a problem.
At that point there, what I'm going to do is, let me just count this out. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 more cycles. I'm just going to delete all of the percussion as I had it. Obviously, I'm doing this on the fly for this stream, which I'm working a little bit differently to normal, but mostly the same principles. And then those shakers need to come out just in that last bar.
Say again, please. Say again, please. Say again, please.
Houston, we have a problem.
Right. I'm going to duplicate the percussion as I had it. And we're going to go to a new section there. Make sure the bass is muted. Just trying to think what these things are. Nice. I'll keep these effects on the same pattern as I had. Get rid of those.
Houston, we have a problem.
Right, at that point. Sorry. With the Reese, I'm just going to I think what I'll do is open up that bass, which is called Slaughter. Great name. I think what I'm just going to do is delete everything from the original mix in the bass, because it's getting a bit confusing as to what's open. That's such a nice sound. I've just realised I'm EQing this sound, but this EQ is set for the sides because it's an EQ I'm using just to mono the bass. I'm such a prat. Right, get it back to stereo. Right, there we go. Getting that side chain working nice. So most of the bass sounds I like to make in massive. Woo, what? gosh. That sounds mad. So that's the comb filter in Massive. You can sort of choose a pitch point for it. And then by changing the feedback and the dampening, it depends how aggressive it is. So if I bring the feedback right down there, it's not going to affect it. It's not going to howl like it was. So basically, without the feedback, it's doing nothing. And as soon as you start opening that feedback, depending where you put the pitch wheel, depends where it starts to hum. That sounds mad.
Houston, we have a problem.
Wow, I absolutely love that. I almost like that for the drop, but it's not quite as cold and eerie as the sort of theme was when I first started this live stream. This is what's difficult about producing music as well. Sometimes you hit across an idea when you're making music and it throws you off what you were planning on doing, and sometimes you've got to pursue it, do you know what I mean? Otherwise you could have lost an opportunity, but I'll try and rein it in at the moment. So that sound really, I've just cut the bottom end so it's not doing anything at the bottom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and layer that with the Reese and let the Reese handle the bottom end so there's like continuity in the track. Sounds mad. Sounds like a really sad cat that's been thrown into space and it's just out there making noises. And it sounds like it's really big and fat as well. Jeez, I love that sound.
Houston, we have a problem.
So weird that sound is, I love it. It sounds sick on its own. I think with these synths on top of it, it doesn't quite work because it's not even in tune. It's just like out of key and just wrong. But I just really like it because it's wrong.
Houston, we have a problem.
And then at that point, there, back in with just the Reese and some synths on top of it. That came in then and it sounded really nice with it. weird, that sound. I love that sound. Cut that off there.
Houston, we have a problem.
Oh my gosh. I know I've said it about 50,000 times, but I really love that. Right. So I'm going to play that from the top now and see how that rolls through. Well, that sounds terrible because I've got it muted. I've got 8 minutes left of this stream.
This is Houston. Say again, please. Say again, please. Say again, please. Say again.
Houston, we have a problem. 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 Have a problem.
Say again. Say again. This is Houston. Say again, please. Say again.
Right, here comes the very, very sad cat.
Houston, we have a problem. Have a problem.
Jeez!
Say again. 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 Say again.
That sounds so mad when that cat comes in. I keep calling it a cat and it's going to stick now. It's going to be the sad cat VIP.
Say again.
Yeah. Then back in with those synths.
This is Houston. Say again, please. Say again, please. Say again, please.
Houston, we have a problem. Have a problem. Have a problem. Have a problem. Have a problem.
Wow, this is actually this has come together pretty sick. It's a bit of a weird remix and a weird VIP. I wasn't anticipating that sound to come when I edited that sound in Massive. So sick though. Guys, I hope you've been enjoying this live stream. I hope you've taken a few things from it. I really want to thank Truth first of all as well for getting me on board to do this. Don't forget the latest EP from Truth, Neptune EP, is out already. Deep, Dark and Dangerous. Go and show your support. That'd be wicked. Also as well, if you're not already following me, Instagram ENiGMA Dubz, Twitter, Facebook, SoundCloud as well. I've got so much music lined up over the next 12 months and beyond as well. And there is something else as well, but I'm not going to say any more than just that slight snippet. But this live stream with Deep, Dark and Dangerous was meant to happen, and that's all I'm going to say, because there's something coming in the future, possibly, which you guys need to keep your eyes peeled for. But yeah, out to all my producers out there who are doing their thing, all the fans, all the music heads as well. This is a really tough time at the moment with COVID, but let's just keep the community rolling and be there for each other, because music's one of those things that will always be there, and it'll always bring people together, and it's just a brilliant thing to be a part of for myself as well. It gives me a lot of positivity in my life. So yeah, out to everybody involved in the scene. Like, I love you all, guys. Big up. I'm just going to play this one more time before I log off, because this really sad cat is...
Houston, we have a problem.
Jeez.
Say again, 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 say again.
Love it.
Say again. This is Houston. Say again, please. Say again, please. Say again, please.
Houston, we have a problem.
Right, wicked. I'm actually really pleased with how that's come together. So stay locked. You've got LB and Confusion coming up next. And once again, thank you very much for locking in, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night, and big up to Truth, Deep, Dark and Dangerous gang. Have a good evening. All right, big up.